through me and through both of us.
Okay. Today we have Victoria Reynolds. I just called her on the phone and said, Victoria, we need some clarification here. It's 11:11. What's going on? So take it away.
So 11:11 is numerologically one of the most powerful days of the year every year. Basically what it is that the doors to the universe are open. Whenever you see an 11, which is one of the reasons I've noticed over the years that a lot of people, when they begin their awakening experience, they start to see numbers. They start to see codes. And 11 is one of the more common ones. And so the number 11 literally represents a window being open. So a window is open to the universe. And 11:11 is the window is open for giving and receiving here physically as well as with the universe, which is one of the reasons that it's such a powerful date. And so throughout people's days, they might see 11:11. Those are like little windows of opportunity. This is an entire 24-hour window of opportunity. So this particular one feels exceptionally powerful to me. And I didn't really understand why until I started tuning in a couple of days ago. And one of the things that was shown to me is that, and I'd never noticed this before, there are 40 days and 40 nights between 11:11 and 12:21. And 12:21 is the winter solstice, which is also a very important astrological day.
Oh, yes.
So in the Northern Hemisphere, it's the return of light, which is why it's been celebrated in cultures all over the earth, because particularly in the Northern Hemisphere, because that is when light begins to return back to the planet. It's no coincidence, that there are Druid ceremonies for the return of light, and there were
pyramids
in all
Stonehenge,
right? The winter solstice celebrations is because there's the promise of the return of light, and so. It was the perfect time of year to also put Jesus on, his birthday at that time as well. So, because it's that time of year. So, but what I found really interesting is that there are 40 days and 40 nights between 11:11 and 12:21.
Wow.
And I had never noticed that until Sunday. And what's really fascinating is that other people have been saying the same thing. Other people got the same message. So when I get a message and then I hear other people talking about it, it's kind of confirmation that this is correct and that this is an important thing for us all to be taking notice of.
Sure.
So the 40 days and 40 nights is all over the Bible. Well, not just in the Bible, talk about it in Buddhism. They talk about it in Islam. And so there's something really important about that number. It rained for 40 days and 40 nights. Moses spent 40 days and 40 nights in the desert. Jesus spent 40 days and 40 nights in the desert.
Right.
And I think Muhammad spent 40 days and 40 nights in the cave. So it's a very transformational period of time.
Right.
And so then I got some more information yesterday about this year and why it's so important this year. And it's because the combination of 11:11, 2021 is a numerological number 9, which is the end of a cycle.
And it's the God number, according to Tesla.
Right. So and when I started tuning in and asking about this particular one, apparently, and this is what came to me yesterday, is that the quote that people have been throwing around for a couple of years of it's going to be biblical. I think this is that time period they're talking about. And so it isn't necessarily, hellfire and brimstone and all that stuff. It's more of looking at that 40-day, 40-night code.
Right.
And it starts with 11:11. So I think what we're going to start seeing in this window, because the window opens up on 11:11. What tends to happen with 11 dates and 11 years is that there's kind of an urge to purge. I don't know if you've ever experienced that. 2018 was an 11 year, and so many people started just like, I got to clean the house. I got to clean my relationships. I got to move. I got it right. So there's an urge to purge that comes with an 11 year.
Yes.
And a lot of relationships ended. A lot of jobs changed out during that time. So that letting go is also part of the window that comes with the 11, as does receiving, because we can't receive what it is we desire unless we're willing to let go of what it is we don't want.
That's so very wise. And in Linda Goodman's star, when she talks about the star codes, 11, her word is submission, which would be exactly what you're saying, is to...
It's letting go.
To letting go. Exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
And so what it feels like, because it is not an 11 year, but it's a very powerful 11 date with that number 9 as the power that's behind it, that it feels like we're going to be doing some collective purging, letting go.
Okay.
And that it feels like that time that a lot of people have been waiting for, which is a lot of the corruption being exposed. My feeling is we're going to see a lot of that in the next 40 days and 40 nights.
Wow, it's time. It's so time.
Beginning with this time and moving all the way through that December 21st portal. So normally there's an 11/11 portal, which lasts for 24 hours. But then the way that it feels like it's lining up energetically this year is that the portal actually lasts for 40 days and 40 nights.
Okay. Because right now, so many people are looking for answers, and so many people that are aware of the corruption and the darkness that's been happening on the planet, that so many are totally oblivious to,
completely oblivious to it. Yeah.
Have no clue. I think what we need right now collectively is to know that there is a plan, there is a perfect plan, to look at numbers, because that is the way that source, God, energy speaks to us, is through coincidences. And numbers will always give those coincidences. And of course, I'm all about numbers because of music, but because there's this beautiful harmonic thing that happens with music and numbers. And so, like you said, going into different religions or spiritual belief understanding and seeing these same numbers appearing over and over again, you need to pay attention to that, because it was 40 days in the desert in the Bible that Jesus went out and meditated and probably let go, because when we meditate, we do let go. We say, okay, we ask Spirit to bring Spirit into us and to let go of any thoughts or anything else that we're doing. So what would you tell people? What kind of suggestion would you give to people right now with the understanding of 11/11, how they can just contemplate it, view it, understand it? What would you say to them?
Well, there are a lot of events that are happening today. So if they have access to, I think you can just probably Google 11/11 events. You might be able to find a bunch of them. They're all over Facebook. There are events happening all over the world. And they do every year on 11/11. And so it would be, my suggestion would be, because very few people are actually working today, because 11/11 also happens to be a national holiday.
Veterans Day today. That's right. Okay.
So my suggestion would be, if you're not able to attend any of these meditative events, because they're all meditative, they're all spiritually focused events. If you're not able to attend those events, go outside, go walk in the woods, go, in my case, I'm going to the beach, go be with nature and commune with Spirit that way. And a lot of people don't realize how being outside and being in the trees and putting our hands in the dirt, even if it's going outside and gardening. And I know a lot of the country's not really gardening time of year anymore, but doing anything that puts them outside and puts them in commune with nature also opens up those windows as well. There's something very spiritual about putting your feet in the earth, putting your hands in the dirt, and even if it's going outside and raking up the leaves, it's being out there. Spirit isn't in a house or in a book; it's in nature, and to really be in that, because we are all one humanity, and we're all communicating with each other through the earth herself. That's how we create our unity. And so, yeah, if they're not able to attend an event, go outside and just be in the presence of Gaia, Mama Gaia, as I call her, and be in the presence of spirit, and just allow that to envelop their hearts. This time that's going to be happening in the next 40 days and 40 nights is what I call the end of the old world and the beginning of the new world. So it might be very unpleasant for people who aren't paying attention. Well, we're in the metamorphosis stage. We're in the transition stage. So we collectively are in the cocoon of transformation.
The cocoon. And this would be what you refer to as the 4D.
Well, actually, yeah. I hadn't really made that correlation so much, but the 4D really is the cocoon. That's where the magic happens. There's so many people who want to just go from 3D to 5D and bypass the 4D, but the 4D is where the transformation actually occurs.
Right.
And that now collectively, a lot of this information that the guidance I got yesterday is that by the end of this year, the 3D will have flatlined, and that the collective of reality will be in 4D. So 4D is where you first pop up and go, oh my gosh, I didn't even know this was going on. As the 3D collapses, the lower 4D is where we're working through all of our issue resolution, and the shadow process, the story processing and shadow work, all that happens in lower 4D. And then as we start going up the spiritual spiral up into higher 4D, the more all that other stuff just falls away. And then we get into heaven on earth, which is the 5D. And very, very, very few people are in 5D. This is, there are people who are saying, oh, I'm all in 5D. It's like, well, for starters, if you're bragging about being in 5D, you're not. So
you taught me that. And
we're all in various stages of 4D. And every once in a while we get a bliss trip, which is like this glimpse of 5D. And
right.
And it's fascinating because even the colors are different. Every once in a while I see 5D colors, and it's like neon colors. It's so much brighter. Our reality is actually quite dull at the moment. The colors are muted, which people don't really get. But with this glimpse of 5D, we can see how much more light and bright our reality is going to be.
Right.
And we can visualize heaven on earth. Very few people are actually in it because it's not out of our grasp, but we have to work through we have to let go of everything that is not 5D in order to arrive at 5D. So, so this window, my understanding, this window is the beginning of the end of the 3D matrix. Okay. And that it will be flatlined by the end of this year. And that, what that's going to require is a whole lot of issues being brought to the surface for our collective resolution. So for a lot of humanity, it's going to be a very difficult time where their beliefs are going to be challenged.
Yes. And I'm grateful.
Working in the light, it's a very exciting time because it's going to be infused with prosperity for creating the new systems so that humanity doesn't fail entirely. So one of the things I also wanted to mention is that the number 4 is about the angelic realm. So when people see the number 44, and a lot of people say, oh my gosh, I see 444 all the time. It's a way of your angels telling you that they're present and that they're with you. And so I started seeing that as well with this 40 days and 40 nights. And what I'm seeing are an image of the hosts of angels that are here assisting us through this transformation process.
Okay.
So I wanted to share that with you as well, because I think it's really important that we recognize that the 4s in this as well. So, 44, of course, is 11 times 4. So it's like taking the 11 and multiplying it times 4. It's energetically, this is really, really powerful time. So I'm really glad you invited me to have this conversation, because the more of us who understand how important this time frame is, the more of us can energize it.
Good. Okay. Number 4, everybody. Number 4. Okay. And
44.
And the 40.
Yeah.
You amaze me. You always amaze me. Thank you, Victoria.
Thank you.
Okay.